So I usually don't do this. But today I felt like I needed to help you understand exactly what it is that I use when I'm creating my podcast. So this is my AI content workflow for podcasting and why it works for me. Now it might not work for you, but it sure enough works for me. And it puts everything in perspective. It helps me get things out there. So this is why it works for me. So with that being said, I wanna ask you something real quick. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of something. And I need you to be brutally honest. I need you to be honest. And what I need you to do is understand this. How many hours did you spend last week creating content for your podcast? Or how many hours did you spend last week just creating content for you to upload? Because you might be a business, you might be a content creator. But the question is how many hours did you spend creating content? That's writing your scripts, recording, editing. I mean, you doing everything that you need to do. You getting your captions done. You write out your captions. All right. You designing graphics, you scheduling posts, you typing up your show notes, you sending the emails to your email list if you have one. You're doing it all. And it's over and over and over. It's a revolving door. Now tell me. And if you want to tell me, you can leave it in the comments below. You could email me, but I prefer you leave it in the comments. Now, again, how many new clients did all of this work bring you? Because see, when I first started, I was doing this, didn't understand what I was doing. I was burning out. And for me to answer this question and for you to be honest with yourself, mine was zero when I first started doing this. It was, I ain't gonna front, it was zero. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I got some likes, but nobody was really reaching out. And so if you answer that question and it is zero, or I don't know, or I got some likes like I did, then I need you to stop whatever you're doing. Stop it right now and pay very close attention, because what I'm about to share with you at this very second might be the thing that saves your podcast, your sanity, your creation business. It just might be that thing for you. All right. Because you're not losing because you're lazy. No, that's nowhere near the issue. You're losing because you're doing it the hard way. See, the game done changed, man. The game has changed, and AI is the reason why the game has changed dramatically. And if you're stuck in the old way, you're far behind. Now, I know a few podcasters who have figured this out. I know a few content creators who have figured this out. I'm one of them. Because see, what we're doing now is we're publishing more, we're converting more, but we're working less. And that's the game plan. So today we're going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to give you a brief behind the scenes walkthrough of my AI content workflow. The system I use inside of this business, my business, the Armand Media Group, Anthony Porter Official, personal brand, the Coaches Corner Network, the Block to Broker investment channel. All right. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to give it to you just for free. Because that's the type of person that I am. I want to be. I want to make sure that you understand. So you can go out and try these tools for yourself if you want to and see how much of an impact it has on you. So if you're ready to do this, grab your pen and a piece of paper and let's get into it. Y'all ready to rock out? Let's rock out. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Podcast for Profits, the show where we stop trading time for likes and start turning your conversations into currency. Now, I'm your host, Mr. Tony Porter, your podcast monetization strategist and business coach. Today, we're diving into my AI content workflow for podcasting and content creation, specifically how I use artificial intelligence not to replace my voice, but to multiply it. And before we start, you know how I do. It's real talk. If you are a coach, a consultant, a service provider who's tired of podcasting, creating content into that almighty void that we call the hole, and ready to start generating real clients, real revenue, pay attention. Because this right here, these strategies we're going to break down today, they're not just theories. These are the exact frameworks that I use to help my clients turn their podcast into a business. And it's also the tools that some of the top 1%ers are using today. Now, you can use these tools without breaking the bank, but you got to be able to use them the right way. Now, here's what we're going to cover today. Most podcasters are burning out, trying to do everything manually. They're writing their scripts, they're recording, editing, posting, emailing, and they get nothing to show for it financially. All right. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why that model is broken, how AI fixes it, and exactly how I've built a content system that runs like clockwork and keeps my brand visible while I focus on doing whatever. It's either closing clients, spending time with the family, creating something else new, creating something else free, because that's what I love to do. I love to create things to get out because you got people that gatekeep. We're not gatekeeping over here. All right. So this isn't about robots taking over your podcast. Now, we could talk about some things like that, but we're not going to. This is about you finally having what I've been talking about for the last couple of months, and that's leverage. So let's get into it. So as we start to get into this thing, we need to talk about the AI content workflow, and I'm going to break it down. Now, of course, you know how we do things, how I do things especially, is we do this in pillars, all right, stages, formats, frameworks, all of the good stuff. All right, so what is the problem? Why is manual content creation killing your content creation, like your podcast, your video creations? Why is it killing that? Why? Ask yourself that question. All right. So you didn't start a podcast to become a full-time content machine. I know you didn't. Some of y'all started a podcast because you had something you wanted to say. You wanted to get it out of your chest, off your chest, and get it out the mud. You really wanted to sit back. You really wanted to talk. But somewhere between recording that post or recording that episode and then making the post that go along with this, a particular format, things got buried. But what really happened was things started to get dull. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, then you understand. Because the truth that nobody in the podcasting space wants to say out loud is this. They don't want to talk to you about it. The content burden, see, that's where most of the coaches and the consultants quit their podcast before it even pays them $1. See, they get burnt out. They feel like they're creating this content because they've been told. And it's the honest to God truth, though. This piece of content is so evergreen because once you make this one long form piece of content and you post it, if you are in the media space, then you're controlling what you post out. But see, most of the coaches and the consultants, they quit, right? Why do they quit? Well, they quit because of certain things. Now, none of them has to do with content ideas that they come up with. None of it has to do as if their message was even good, because some of the information that a lot of people are putting out is excellent information. They was quitting because the volume of work required them to stay consistent. You understand what I'm saying? They was doing things manually. See, a lot of people are still stuck. They haven't figured out that AI is here to make life easier. Now, some people have this conspiracy theory, all right, that AI will take over the world. And if that's their choice, then so be it. But here's the thing. People have lost relationships. People have lost family time. People quit going to certain things for their kids because they were so wrapped up into doing content creation, recording episodes, putting posts together, and manually making sure that it's scheduled. Can you imagine you being that person at your child's dance recital and they get that solo dance, but you're posting a post and you miss the entire thing? Do you know how demoralizing that is? And when I say demoralizing, I mean you feel like the worst parent. Or how about your son playing baseball and he gets his first hit, but you didn't see it because you had to run back to the car to charge your phone because you're too busy putting content out. All right. Think about it. Think about what actually a single episode demands. So you need a script. You need an outline. You got to have a recording time. You got to have editing. You got to make up. If you posted it on YouTube, it's got to have a YouTube description. You got to have show notes. You got to have emails. You got to have 5 Instagram captions, 3 Facebook posts, LinkedIn content, maybe a reel or 2, some YouTube shorts, some TikTok videos. Now you got YouTube posts. Now, can you imagine one episode, 30 pieces of content? And that's just one single episode, 30 to 40 pieces of content every single week, not month. Some people saying month. No. Week. And it's just you. See, that's a second job. That's not content strategy. That's you have applied for a second job and you finally got it. So that's where I was sitting at when I first started podcasting. I was doing everything, doing it by hand because that's all I knew. I didn't know nothing about AI because AI really wasn't popping back when I started. And then on top of that, come on, man, I'm from the hood. I'm from West Louisville. Now, don't get it twisted. West Louisville is a great place to live. All right, it's not what people make it out to be. But let's face the facts. Politics, society does not want to see the West Side be the best side. See, I didn't have a content manager. What I had, my homeboys taught me, we was making beats back in the day. I had a microphone, I had my laptop, and I had a mission. Because once I realized I didn't want to make beats no more, once I realized I didn't want to be in the music industry no more, I had a mission to be a podcaster. My time, no manager, nothing. I'm thinking I'm going to blow this spot out. Pause. And I'll be honest with you. There were weeks where the content didn't even go out because I literally ran out of time. I didn't run out of ideas. Time every week because, see, I didn't have that structure either. But the most devastating part was that every week I felt like a week that I was invincible. Because back then, if you was putting content out, people were starting to notice you. And then I started feeling like I was letting the people down, and I was feeling a little, distraught. I felt like people needed me. But it wasn't that. It was I just couldn't keep up with the machine that I had created. I mean, it feels great to see people come up to, hey, man, you still doing your podcast? Yeah, I ain't seen you. I'm like, yeah, that was back then. That's frustration. And that is what pushed me to build a better system. Now, I didn't come up with the system all on my own. I started studying people. And then when AI tools started popping out, I started following people like Alicia Little. Yeah, dope. Nikki Saunders. A lot of people don't know who Nikki Saunders is. Let me tell you who Nikki Saunders is. Nikki Saunders is from New York. Nikki Saunders herself is New York. If you've never been around somebody from New York, you wouldn't understand it. But she New York. She a New York lady. I'm not going to call her a chick. She a New York lady. All right? But the people that she runs with, the people that she is vested with, two of the most powerful individuals you ever wanted to see. Her circle consists of E.T. Eric Thomas and CJ. CJ has helped David Sands with his podcasting course. So can you imagine this young lady, she's hitting you with all the AI, all right? And then I've come across another young lady named Sabrina. I know I'm going to mess her name up, but Sabrina Romanoff, she's killing it right now. So each one of these young ladies have had the opportunity, or I've had the opportunity to watch and learn and dive in and purchase and just understand things, okay? AI started to support a real content workflow for me, and it just wasn't spitting out generic garbage. I went all in. I started testing. I started building. Now, I learned how to do that from watching Nehemiah Davis and David Sands. And a lot of people don't understand it. In order for you to be successful, you have to run through trial and error. So the first thing I wanted you to understand is this, because when AI started evolving, I was doing it manually. And I want you to understand that your manual content process has a ceiling, all right? And that ceiling is your calendar. AI revolves so quickly, it removes the ceiling. It doesn't replace your voice. It multiplies your output so your voice can reach more people without requiring more time. See, if you've gotten into this online space, and the one thing most people like a Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, or Tony Robbins have said is you want to take back your financial time and your financial freedom. And I know people are like, well, how do you take back financial time? Because see, the less you have to deal with one particular subject, you could be over creating something else. And that something else that you're creating then becomes a financial piece of real estate that you own because you created it. So the more you can create, the less you have to work harder. And then your financial situation can change dramatically. But for me, I was just wanting to learn the tools and things like that, right? So here's the thing. If you are ready to dive in, here's what I need you to do. First and foremost, I need you to jump on over to the Anthony Porter official website and join the Media Leverage Reports because we talk about this, all right? We talk about it. I'm going to leave the link down in the description, the show notes below. Subscribe to that and make sure that when you subscribe to it, you are good to go, okay? Now, once you get in there, I need you to understand this. Having AI tools is not the same as having an AI workflow. So we're going to talk about that next. We got to show you and show you exactly what's the difference, what it looks like, and why it really matters. Because see, when I worked on my AI content system, I went from spending 10 to 12 hours per episode to under 3. Now, can you imagine? Record, edit, add little clips here, intro, boom, schedule it out. Now, after I schedule this thing out, I could go back in and I need to add a few things. I need to make sure things are a lot smooth. But it felt great because I stopped spending creative energy on logistics and started spending creative energy on the strategy. So let's talk about number 2, the framework. I'm going to tell you, and I really don't like doing this, but I'm going to tell you how my my AI content workflow actually works. Now, I know you're tired of AI, or I know you probably tried it. Listen, a lot of people use ChatGPT like Google. Hey, Google. But here's the thing. You don't understand that you're using generic prompting with some of these AI workflows. And then you wonder why it doesn't sound like you want it to sound. It doesn't sound the way I put things out. And then you're mad because it gives you some off-brand generic information. And so you go back to doing it yourself. You tapped out. No more tapping out. All right. There's no more tapping out. But I understand. I almost did it. But I started coming across people who was teaching me. But see, again, AI is not the problem. The problem was I didn't and you didn't have a system built around the voice, your voice. Now, here's how my workflow actually runs. I call it the content multiplication engine, and it comes in 5 stages. Believe it or not, it comes in 5 remarkable stages. Stage 1 is the core asset. What's the core asset? It's my podcast episode. Everything starts with one piece, the episode, the mothership. That's it. The podcast is not just content. It's a content extraction machine. Every word you say in that episode, every piece, everything that you do around that episode is raw material for everything else. But some of these cats, some of these folk treat it like it's the finished product and then they move on. That's mistake number 1 for most of y'all. For me, again, I'm in stages, so I'm already at stage 2. And it's the AI brief. See, before I record, I hope you understand this, asterisk this, because this is key. I build what I call an AI brief. This is before I do anything. It's a prompt. It's a prompt document that contains my brand voice, my audience, my key frameworks, the episode topics, the main points I'm hitting on in this particular episode, my emotional tone for the episode. This brief is what I feed into AI tools to make sure every output sounds like me. Now, this is before I would start. Here's what's crazy. Inside of these AI tools, you can go into the settings, and this exact brief you can plug in. So you don't have to post it every single time. And once you get it in there, it comes out just like you. But you have to have pieces of content. So if you listen, let me give you a pro tip. If you're recording and you have the transcripts, take 3 transcripts, put them on a Google Doc, go into your favorite AI, go into your settings, and there's a spot that will tell you exactly where you need to post it at. And when you post it and save it and refresh it, and then you go back in there and create a piece of content, it comes out sounding just like you. All right. So it's not robotic. You just want to make sure that if you're scripting something out, that it's talking just like you. Now, understand this. If you really want AI to spit out content that you will spit out, this is non-negotiable. Without a brief, it's going to spit out the most generic pieces of content you ever want to read. With the brief, you got that leverage. You got that. This is me. This is what I want to sound like. And this is how this is going to come out. So that's how we get down with that. All right. Now, stage number 3. Let's talk about it. The episode script. Before I do anything, before I record, listen, I'll be the first to tell you. My podcast, my videos, all of them are scripted out. But what's on that script is not what comes out of my mouth. I might use some of it, like, okay, let's say stage 3, the episode script. That's there. Now, what is written on the notepad, my iPad, is I use AI to help build out the episode script structure, the bones. I ain't saying that. See, AI is the backbone to my whole content workflow. And when I'm creating my scripts, I use Claude. Claude has my brief within it, and it knows what I want to say. It knows how I want to say it. It knows my tone because I told it. And what this does is it helps me move faster, create faster, and write cleaner. Listen, I'm dyslexic, so a lot of times I rush through things because I don't want nobody to sit back and be reviewing my content and be like, he dumb. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I put out good content. And again, AI helps me with that. I've built an app that I'm working on and I'm tweaking that helps me generate hooks because I used to write them by hand. And the hooks that I used to write by hand, because I'm not a copywriter, I'm not Jim Edmonds, it just wouldn't fit right. See, I've invested a lot of time, a lot of money in a whole lot of products. I bought funnel scripts from ClickFunnels, which was about $500 something. What I got over there, that was the first AI that I've ever used. Jim Edmonds was ahead of his time. Now, shoot, my frameworks, my transitions, my transcripts, my case studies, my example scenarios, all AI written. And AI cuts my writing time in half. That's the beauty of it. So when I'm out and I come up with an idea, the funny thing is I don't have my phone with me. It's on the charger somewhere. But listen, the funny thing is it's on my phone. I have ChatGPT. I have Google Gemini. I have DeepSeek. I have Manus. And I think I have Perplexity. I got rid of Perplexity. I got Claude AI. All right. Claude AI is my writing partner. Manus has become my research partner. Now, Gemini is starting to be able to create images like ChatGPT. I've created some dope images from ChatGPT. All right. But what it's done is it's taken away the time spent on a lot of these things. Now, here's the best part about that. Remember, we talked about this. See, in order for you to be in this game, you got to pay attention, because once you start paying attention, you will understand. All right. Stage 4 is the content extraction. Now, I know you like, well, if we got the content, what do we need the extraction for? Well, check this out. 99.9% of everybody who's on these apps, what they have is this. They have social media platforms. So if you're posting your podcast to Apple Music, or you posting your podcast to Spotify, or you posting your podcast to Amazon Music, Google Music, YouTube, you need show notes. You need a YouTube description. But you're posting, correct? So you're going to need Instagram captions, about 5. You're going to need 3 Facebook posts. You're going to need an email newsletter, a LinkedIn post, some TikTok videos, thread videos. You're going to need all of that. My prompt alone, all right, that I use every week to create my podcast episode spits this out for me. So once this is done, once I edit it, once I add in a little bit of juice here and a little bit of juice there, I'm ready to make the move. And this is the move that most of the folk who are in podcasting and content creation miss. All right. So you're not creating content from scratch for each platform. You're extracting it from that one piece of long form content. So if you're making a podcast, most podcasters, they want an hour. That's great, because once you start doing that, and see, the tool that I use a tool called Riverside.fm. All right. And I'm going to talk about that. Matter of fact, my last episode is what we discussed with Riverside. So here's what a lot of folk do not understand. Okay. They don't understand this. Riverside takes and does everything that I just talked about, and even better. Not only does it get rid of the ums, the highs, the ohs, all of that good stuff, it shortens out the podcast. It takes away the editing. So it really, my editing is cut in half. Now it's gotten even better, because see, now I can generate my YouTube videos. I can create my thumbnails for YouTube in ChatGPT, because guess what it does? It spits out the prompt for me to use. And so what I do is I say, hey, listen, ChatGPT, this particular prompt right here, I'm using this for a podcast episode that I'm uploading to YouTube. Is this strong enough? And then it'll come back and kick it out for me. And then I add in whatever images I want to add in, finalize the prompt, and what it spits out is remarkable. But again, stage 5 is where AI really helps. Because see, I found Sabrina Romanoff, and she has a thing called Blotado. And it leads me to what I'm going to say right here, the scheduling system. Because see, once the content is generated and it's edited in my voice, it goes into a scheduling tool that runs on autopilot. So by the time I'm finished, I get everything scheduled out. And then guess what happens? Now I don't have to worry about nothing until Thursday. Why Thursday? Because that's when I start getting ready to record my episode for the weekend, so it can come out on Mondays at 6 a.m. See, I'm not posting in runtime. I'm not scrambling every morning thinking of what to post. I've already got it. My calendar's full. It's filled for weeks. It's in advance, because the system runs on itself. Now, I remember showing my homeboy this. He's a streamer. He jumped on Riverside, started streaming. He started chopping his clips up. His streams went from 100 views to a little over 2,000 views per stream in the first few streams. But now he's up there. Now, I haven't went on this platform in a while, because they be gaming. I don't do the gaming thing. But we chop it up every day. He's like, bruh, Riverside saved me. Blotado has saved me. Because once he gets finished, he can chop everything he wants to chop up. And then guess what happens? Those videos are ready to go. And that's the beauty of it, man. You got to have a system. So understand this. One episode, 5 stages, 30 to 40 pieces of content. That's the content multiplication engine. And it works because AI doesn't replace your strategy. It executes it faster. Write this down. Your content, your podcast episode, it's not a product, it's a factory. AI is the assembly line. Your audience gets your product. And the clients are what happens when the factory runs consistently. Stop treating your episodes like a finished piece of whatever, and start treating it like your content source. Again, we talk about this in the media leverage reports. Ain't no sense to keep playing around with it. The link will be in the description below. Now, the stages is one thing, but I want to be specific. The next section that I want to talk about, I'm going to walk through with you the tools I actually use inside this workflow and why each one earns its place in my stack. So let's get into it. The tools, what actually I use to help me get to this point. All right, so I know you've got tool fatigue. Every week someone's coming out with a new tool. Hey, man, check this out. No, here's what I use that actually helps me with everything that I do. Once again, Riverside. Riverside, this is where I record my audio, my video, automatically transcripts. The transcriptions become the foundation for everything else. My AI brief gets fed into its own AI tool. All right, and it transcribes accurately. Here's the beauty. Cloud AI is my primary writing tool. Every script, every post, everything that I do comes from Cloud AI. Now, I used to use Opus Clip. So I kept it on her because Opus Clip, you take that one long piece of content, you can drop it in, and it would spit out some of the most dangerous clips you could ever think of. And it was, the beauty of it was, it's because it was kicking it out, and I was uploading 3 clips a day to platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and it was doing what it was supposed to do. But Riverside does the same thing, all right? Riverside does the same thing. Just a lot less clips that I have to deal with, okay? Now, because I use Cloud, and what I've learned is Cloud is able to connect to Canva. That's what I use for graphics, graphic design, carousel designs, all my visual content. My templates, I already pre-build them. So when I take my AI-generated writer, Cloud, and I take it over here and jump over here to inside of there and I write, and it goes to Canva, it creates the images that I wanted to create. I go back, I look at it. If I don't like it, I ask it to create something else. Yeah. Or if I take my post, put it in there, ask ChatGPT or Gemini with Nano Banana 2 to generate a YouTube image for a post, and it spits it out. Then I turn around and take it, put it in Cloud with that particular post and let it send it on over to my next tool, which is Blotada. Blotada is that piece of content I've already told you about. It's my scheduler. Now that's my stack. I automatically send out several pieces of content a week on time. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've already got 4 posts on 4 different platforms. That's my content journey, man. And I use it that way because I want the flow to keep going. I want to be consistent. I want everybody to see it. I want you to understand it. I want you to know it. I want you to love it. All right. You don't need 15 tools. You need 5 tools that talk to each other inside one workflow. Complexity is the enemy of consistency. All right. So again, when your tools are stacked right, your workflow is locked in. That's what you need. You don't miss weeks anymore. You don't fall off the wagon, the content radar. You stay visible. You stay valuable. And that visibility is what keeps the pipeline flowing. You feel me? Now, we've talked about the problem, the framework, and the tools, but here's a piece that actually separates podcasters and content creators. The secret weapon, your AI brand brief, all right? Everything I just walked you through only works at the highest level when AI knows who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And right now, I've been using this. I told you, I put it inside. There's a specific place for it. I put it inside of there, and every time that I write now in Cloud, even in ChatGPT, it spits out everything that I wanted to spit out. All right. Your brand brief is that document. It could be a 1 page, it could be 3 page. Hell, it could be 10,000 pages if you want it to be. AI will analyze it. What I love about Cloud is they build skills. So every time I write something, it goes back. So I have content I make for Anthony Porter Official. That skill, it goes back and reads it because I've already put it in there. For the podcast, For Profits, it's a skill. It's already in there. And it just goes back. That's what this is for. When you paste your brief into a Cloud or any other AI tool before you prompt, it stops guessing. All right. You don't want garbage. You got to make sure everything works. And that's what this thing does. So don't play around with it. All right. Understand it. Get to it. Make everything flow like it's supposed to. So do yourself a favor. Build your AI brand brief one time. Update it for your brand voice and paste it every single time, or go inside the settings and post it inside. It's a box and just save it, refresh it, go back to it. All right. See, AI without a brand brief is completely bonkers. AI with the brand brief is your content team. You built your team. You don't have to hire 1,000 people. You feel me? Now, Again, we talk about this in the media leverage reports. Link will be in the description below. Grab it, sign up, subscribe, join us. All right. So we talking about now it's time to take this thing home. We've covered everything today that we needed to cover. This isn't theory. I pulled out the marketing test book and I got to work with it. All right. This is actual workflow. And guess what? This is what I use. And it's been helping me grow over the last few years. Have I reached my peak yet? No, because I'm always evolving. And it just doesn't stop there. Most people think that, here's what some of the gurus will tell you. Don't post on social media. Post everywhere because people don't know who you are. They need to know who you are. You understand what I'm saying? They need to know exactly who you is. Okay. Now, one link I'm going to put in the description is the media leverage reports. But if you want to grab the conversation, the currency checklist, that's going to be in the report too, in the description below. If you want to grab the client generating podcast blueprint, because it's just not for podcasters, it's for content creators, it's going to be in the description below. You got me? Stop playing around. Grab them so you'll understand exactly what it is that you need to do. All right. I know one thing's for certain, two things for sure. This was an episode that I needed to get out. And I pump these type of episodes out every single week. But then when you go over to the media leverage reports, you can get an in-depth look at exactly what I'm talking about. All right. See, over here, we turn conversations into currency. And I'm committed to making sure you do the exact same thing. So don't waste no time. Don't play around. You know the frameworks. You have the workflow. You have the tools. The only question left is, what are you going to do with them? Because podcasting and content creation, those folk who are doing it, they're winning right now. Not because they're smarter, but because they're consistently using AI to pump out the content in less time. Now, today you got the system. Now you need to go build yours. Grab them resources, join, subscribe to the media leverage reports. It only takes a few seconds. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to see you in the next episode. Again, we turn conversations into currency. Now go turn yours. We out of here. Peace.